Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to SpeedGaming 3. We are hosting Link to the Past Randomizer League Day. It's Season 3, and we've got a match between OP Got Good, featuring NilssonAlex92 and WallKicks, versus We Are the Imposters, featuring AceZer0 and waterleau. My name is Zekai Wind, and joining me in the booth today is WolfLink0370.
Good evening, everyone. I'm doing pretty good here. So, for those of you wondering, as you can see the scores here, we have a fairly, pretty much exhibition match. This is the last week of the league here. So, neither team can, and with the top of the team being upwards of 25 plus points, this is more so an exhibition tonight to round things out here in the Kakariko division. But it's going to be a fun time regardless, as we have co-op info share, meaning the teams can collaborate with each other and get everything. Defeat Ganon, pretty standard goal. But we have Randomizer and full boss shuffle. What this means is that every single boss in the game will be shuffled. It is guaranteed to appear once. And normally, it's the Armosites, the Lamolas, and Moldor which appear twice. In this case, with full boss shuffle, any 3 bosses can be duplicated, but only 1. So we can have 2 Tridents, but we cannot have 3. For example.
That's correct.
In terms of scoring, as at this point in time, OP Got Good is unfortunately 0-12. Rounding out the very bottom of the Kakariko division. But we also have We Are the Imposters at 4-8, who is the second lowest team in this division. So yeah, very, like I said, this may as well be an exhibition match. Neither team can possibly get into a position where they will enter the playoffs.
But what matters for this team is having fun at this point, because we've had 7 weeks of fun here, haven't we?
Well, yes. So this is probably the most chaotic mode, because you don't know if you're in go mode until the end. Now, just to elaborate more on info share, just with the basic thing here, normally in these randomizer races, our runners are isolated in their own little booth, their own little corner of the internet. They're not allowed to get any information from the outside sources. They have to find everything on their own merit. In this mode, however, their teammate is allowed to share information between them to say, hey, this is where the booths are. Come get here immediately. Or say, this is a heart container. Pick it up if you want. And because of that, you can often see that one runner finds a lot of health, and another runner is just basically at low percent as they can get. So this has a little bit of a higher death rate than you would normally see in a randomizer.
That's true, and it looks like we're off today.
Yep.
So one common occurrence is you'll see one player start at the Sanctuary and the other start at Link's house, although in this case, we've got 2 players starting Sanctuary for OP Got Good.
Yep, probably one going to do the hula hand setup, the other one's going to streak attack. And we already see some zeros here, one of the most annoying overworld enemies in the game. Now, something to keep in mind here is something you don't normally see in something you don't normally consider in a normal randomizer, as we see a Hinox and the Chain Chomp. A fish. If they can find a fish, it actually would be advantageous for them if it was near Kakariko. Because Randomizer is one of the few times you can take advantage of a fish and quickly take it to the merchant, who will give you, in addition to the normal 100 rupees, an additional 20 rupees, 10 bombs, a pack of 10 arrows. No, it's a pack of 8 bombs, a pack of 10 arrows, and a full magic decanter. So, a lot of good supplies to start off a run.
We've not found a lot around the Uncle start, and we do see the Houlihan start from WallKicks. We just have money over on Lake Hylia Island today.
Yes, and we do have something else to mention here, folks. There are specific rules to where the bosses can be. If you want to go into the details of it, it's basically Moldar's Arena can only have 5 different bosses. Skull Words can't contain Trinex, and the Lambo 2 pair can't contain Blind because of a Super Tile issue. But everywhere else, like the Eastern Palace dungeon, that's fair game to have any single boss.
Kakariko's weirdly empty today so far. The 5 item checks of Blind Hideout resulted in very little. But we do have a bottle to turn in the sick kid.
Yeah, bottle's always nice to have.
One thing of note to note is both Waterleau and WallKicks, I believe, have bought a 10-pack of bombs from the shop over by Link's house.
Yep, AceZer is doing the same as well. And that is a common strategy you see, is just buying bombs. Second bomb with a blue potion in the well. Ten arrows at the dam. And the chicken hut, which is very dangerous. Because all those chickens get changed to different enemies. But a 10-pack right there, so 3 bombs.
And Alex showing us why that bottle with a bee in it is good, because that was a golden bee, which you can sell to that merchant for 100 rupees, although sometimes the bee does like to latch on to the weather vane.
Here's the fish I was talking about here on NilssonAlex92. Toss the fish to the merchant, and look at everything he gives you. Oh, that was pretty hard to see, but yeah, he did get 8 bombs, he did get 10 arrows, he did get 120 roots. There's a fire rod in the back of the well, and he gave 4 magic as well. It's fairly good to remember that when you're playing Randomizer.
Flute and flippers. Sorry.
Ooh, from Mini Moldorm Cave. Waterloo's already on his way to turn that in.
And so, there was a moon pearl, I'm going to guess, over at the Watergate area that I missed.
Possibly.
So this seed's giving you some mobility options, but you don't have the greatest of other options yet.
It doesn't look like it.
Yes, this chicken hut is extremely dangerous because of that red hard hat beetle. It does 2 hearts of damage.
And is very beefy. Hard to kill.
And it's fast.
And one of our trackers, my movie, is confirming the mover wasn't the dam. We got a map check here. Red pending over at Eastern Palace. 5-6 at Desert. And the boots at the race game.
So it is continuing to give us all the mobility options.
This might be a pretty quick one. Although, that does a lot.
These runners will be very happy to have those boots for certain.
Library only has a heart piece. And WallKicks is going to flute away before realizing the boots are here.
It's not the worst thing. He is just going to get Ice Shroud Cave, and he'll be able to go back to the boots with a quick flute if he needs to. Or he can take his flippers to Zora.
Yes. Now, one thing we should mention before we get into any dungeons here is item logic. How the Randomizer works is that it shovels the enemies after the items get placed. What this means is that anything that is bow locked is still bow locked, even if we can kill everything. And red Igors and red Gorillas cannot appear in kill rooms and force a bow requirement artificially. But they are still considered there because the item placement logic happens before the enemies get shuffled.
I believe the bosses get shuffled before the item, so it knows where to put the ice rod.
Yeah, that too.
But for enemies, and AceZer0 is showing us the use of the golden bee.
Yeah, another use of the golden bee clearing this room. But yeah, basic thing to note is all the items get shuffled first, then all the enemies and bosses get shuffled. So the seed is still completely playable without soft locks. But you have to keep in mind that item logic is still considered as if the enemies were not shuffled at all. A thief on the water there, she drop in. Rude.
And that is a reason you do not fake flipper in Randomizer.
Well, that's not fake flippers, that's normal flippers.
Yes, but that thief would soft lock your game if you tried to fake flipper before getting those flippers.
That is correct. So that means that AceZer0 also has the flute as a result, because they're in the same location. WallKicks now with his boots.
And WallKicks is checking Agino. Useful check with those boots because it's isolated and slow to get to otherwise. And just a Quake medallion.
Interesting find there. We obviously don't know what if our medallion dungeons are required just yet, but could prove useful later.
That pokey nearly took out WallKicks.
And Waterleau finds a glove, which is logically accessible. We are just a hammer or the Titan's Vic away from Darkwood access in the seed. Although, it's kind of a debatable question whether or not you want Darkwood access this early when you have so little health and you especially don't have a weapon to defend yourself with that well. Also, for ease and convenience, thieves are killable.
It's the best setting in Randomizer.
It really is. Randomizer can get a little bit crazy with settings too, I believe, because I believe it's where Pop Shuffle is, but that's not enabled, obviously.
Waterleau was unfortunately 20 rupees short of the Zora, which WallKicks will be able to pick up here.
Yeah, gonna be changing course here to check the back of the dam here. We also get information that Hera is a blue crystal.
And AceZer0 is at Sahasrara's closet for another glove.
That is Darkwood access. Oh my goodness, I just realized how many guards were down here and a Lionel on top of that. You do not want to drop down the back of Sanctuary if you can help it.
And a Wallmaster.
Wallmaster for good measure.
Oh dear. I know what Waterleau is about to do.
Oh,
this is logical with a fire rod.
Logical, but very dangerous.
Alex talked to Sahasrara to find out that his green pendant is in Swamp Palace.
That can be good or bad. Waterloo's got to be extremely careful here. There's a lot of enemies here. Exploding Zeros, the Henoxes. And down he goes.
Yeah.
This is partly why you don't do Dark Rooms without the lamp.
The only problem is that is
you want to see what's killing you. Oh boy.
Alex switch off to pick up the other items. the other gloves. And I imagine we'll be seeing it for the Dark World soon.
Yeah. Fairy Pound giving a red potion is also nice to have. They've got fairly decent health totals here. 5 to 7 hearts between all 4 runners. That says very little about the seed, though, because, yeah, with all the enemies shoveled and their damage deals not shoveled, they could lose all their health in a matter of moments, just to getting unlucky.
Well, for example, that pokey on the bridge east of Link's house, that does 4 hearts of damage.
Yeah, and chain jumps do 6, and the only thing that does even more damage than a chain jump is Ganeth's contact damage, and I believe it does 8 or 9 hearts on green mail.
I believe the answer to that is 8.
It's a lot regardless. Darkworld map check. Skullwoods is the other pendant, 5/6 crystal over in Misery Mire. And as we alluded to earlier, Swamp House is the green pendant.
And Alex is checking out the Village of Outcasts area, as WallKicks gets absolutely destroyed by these guards.
Yeah, not an easy room to get through.
The problem with it is the lag you get in that room.
I mean, the guards in general are bad.
There was a bow in Eastern Palace. And there's a Lionel in the dark room.
Yeah, that's not ideal. But a bow in Eastern is very nice.
We know that bow is logically required by seed. Actually, we know that bow is required by the seed because even not taking into account the logical requirement of it for the seed, you need that bow to open the path to the Helmassar King's room.
That's correct. And we get a sword at long last. And yeah, it's still hard required for Helmassar King's room. It may not be required for the enemy kill rooms anymore. But again, the enemy placement logic gets shuffled after the items do. So, the seed still expects you to have the bow for any kill rooms, like in Piles of Darkness.
This seed really likes its Lionels.
I mean, what seed doesn't like Lionels half the time?
And Alex is taking a good friend of ours, the Frogsmith, around the world.
We'll see where that ends up in a little bit. Obviously with the same equip, but take it all the way around the Hype Cave.
And AceZer0 is going in to get his sword from the back of Skullwoods.
Why wouldn't you?
Excuse me, the front of Skullwoods.
Hype Cave having 3 bombs to start us off, as well as 20 rupees. Armor, that's a good item to have. Another 20 rupees and a heart piece. So, not great items there, but the armor is going to make this a lot easier for WallKicks. I'll expect him to pick that up later.
Chat giving this a 2 out of 10 Hype Cave score.
When you get as low percent on this as just letting your co-op buddy find all the hearts and someone else, at least telling their co-op buddy, hey, this is where armor is if you need it. That's still good in my mind.
I could see getting Hype Cave armor fairly quickly because it's not that far out of the way.
No, it's not far out of the way at all. And if you can make it so that you can survive an extra hit against Ganon, you take that opportunity, especially if you're not bothering getting all the heart containers your partner has found.
WallKicks is absolutely terrified of these skulls, and there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, they home.
They do 4 heart damage as well.
A lot of berries and bars here. Any help, Sawyer? Oh, no, that's just rude. There is Redgars, Wall Masters, Thieves Town.
One piece of advice for if you want to play rando is do not be afraid to die in a dungeon, because usually you can use it to not die, to get out of places faster, especially if that place has to be at the back of a dungeon.
Yeah. Dungeon deaths are not as bad as Old World. And hey, we have a one-eyed Moldorm today. Now, Moldorm with Fighter Sword is pretty interesting and also pretty dangerous. But not this arena, because there's no way you can knock him down.
Yeah,
but when he gets to his last hit, he does that. He goes extremely quickly.
Moldorm outside of his own arena is pretty tame.
Yeah, his main claim to fame is annoyance, but when you get in an arena like that, pretty easy. He can still bully you quite a bit though when he gets aggressive like that though. But first crystal of the match goes to Waterloo. And we got a question about the number eyes on Moldorm. Mean anything that's random? It's completely random. I don't know what triggers the difference in eyes. It just happens.
AceZer0 taking the flippers to the eastern side of Dark World.
But yeah, to give an idea of what's going on, basically, I've seen as many as 7 eyes on a Moldorm. And it's completely coincidental. It's a little bit of a minor glitch with, visual glitch with the Randomizer aspect of the game.
I have seen 8. So, it can be up to an 8-eye, at the very least.
So
what
that Moldorm does tell us something. That Moldorm does tell us something, though. It means we are guaranteed to have a non-Moldorm boss fight in at least one of our Moldorm arenas. There can be 2 Moldorms, but there can't be 3. So there might be a difficult fight coming up in Tower Hera or the top of Ganon's Tower.
WallKicks having slight trouble with the speed of the Moldorm, but that's not uncommon. That Moldorm moves really fast when you can't kill it easily with a tempered sword or a hammer.
Yeah, it's basically, it goes into a berserk state in the last hit and tries to aggressively push you off the stage. But in Thieves Town, you have no stage to get pushed off of, so it just does a lot of damage. It's very dangerous, even then, because it does a whole heart of damage on Green Mail. Purple just turned in, meanwhile, for Waterloo, as his partner goes into Palace of Darkness because the first check there.
And WallKicks is going to Catfish.
And Nissan, meanwhile, went to the bottom of Castle. Looks like there was something there of note.
Waterloo showing off Misery Mire area. For our second bow.
Which means we are the imposters, knows where the silver arrows are. Meanwhile, Catfish for us. That's 20 rupees. So, not a great amount of money. Definitely a junk item check, though. Oh boy, Ace has found something good. That was the Cadence of Maria there in that chest.
That was a lot of guards in the sewers today, too. There's a thief in the Dark Cross rooms. And just a heart container for Dark Cross. Do you always worry when the room is empty in Randomizer?
He's got these Gibos, I believe they're what they're called.
I've heard the term Babusa applied to him as well.
Oh, it might be Babusa.
I usually just call them Shadow Beasts.
Right, Gibos are the cloud enemies in Thieves Town. I got them backwards. The one that shoots their central cloud out and traces it.
And there is OP Got Good's first bow. There is one item that this run is guaranteed to require. And that item is the hammer.
Yeah. Thief on the bridge? No, getting past a Herapod without it. We could still need the ice rod if one of our 3 pendants is not a finite.
Oh yes, there are several items we still need. The hammer is just guaranteed to be required in a open seed.
Yeah, and it's again because of the item placement. We need it for Helmosaur King. We need it for. Well, we need to reach Helmosaur King. We need to reach the boss of Ice Palace, and we needed to basically enter Swamp House and Tournament. That's 4 dungeons. Only 3 of them can be pendant. So the hammer is a guaranteed required item, regardless of where the bosses are shuffled.
And Alex went to get his sword. Where do you think we'll be going next?
That's a good question, actually.
Waterleau bonks off the wall into one of those bomb slugs.
You know what? As crazy as a place it sounds, I might try Ice Palace. I know we don't have a hammer, but at the same time, we have the Cadence of Maria, so we can mitigate most of that and not.
They just found the mirror in Pod. I believe next step is get the mirror and go to the mountain.
Yeah, that would also be a good play. If we didn't have that mirror, then I would say Ice Palace maybe, but it's also kind of an iffy play because there's no hammer currently. But I have actually called a seed in which the hammer was in Ice Palace.
So have I. So it's not an uncommon occurrence.
And these are the Gibos I was talking about here. He's fighting one right now and kills it.
Pod is ridiculously loaded. There was a lamp in there as well, according to chat.
Lamp's gonna be really good. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. Go to the mountain. Old man's on logic. The right side of the mountain is not, but we can go into Hera and do a lot of work in there.
The other option I could see, well, not as many items as if you went to the mountain right now. Desert Palace is clearable.
The mirror, the mirror does give us access to Desert Palace through the back door. And we can full clear desert. There's only going to be 2 items there, but desert is actually an important crystal to go after as well. So 2 items now, and potentially 2 items later, depending on if they want to bother with Super Bomb or not this seed. And Jinxie, our other tracker tonight, and keeping the items updated to you along with Mindful Beast, reminding us that Powder was scouted on the Desert Ledge, which does give us another item in the form of Magic Bat.
As well as Checkerboard Cave. So that would be 4 items now, and technically, and 6 items, another 2 items if they have to do the Pyramid Fairy Bomb.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options here. We'll see which one they end up choosing.
And Alex is going into Eastern Palace, where he will, if he gets to, I believe it's in the compass chest, the bow is in there. Or it's from the first check. I missed exactly where it was. Checkerboard, cannonball chest, bow. So we have our first silver arrow pickup of the game, I believe.
I believe so, yes. Power hair being checked by Ace. Looks like the big key is in Tower Room.
I mean, of course it is.
Oh, doesn't quite get the coffee break strat, so he'll have to defend himself here.
It's at least slightly less boring to do.
Yeah. And to AceZero's credit, this would normally be an extremely long and tedious check, but does have the mirror to at least make the exit of it that much quicker.
It's also a required one at this point because we don't have a hook shot.
That is correct. Now, as we ascend Tower here, I do want to mention to those folks, as I mentioned earlier, only 5 bosses can appear in Moldorm's arena. Moldorm himself, Helmasaur King, Mothula, Cold Stare, or Vitreous are the only bosses that can appear in a Moldorm arena. And of those, I would have to say Helmasaur is the worst. Would you agree to that, Zeke?
I would half agree to that. And we've got our second armor find in Checkerboard Cave.
Alright, WallKicks may not pick up the one in Mimic Cave now, but he knows it's there.
But to clarify why I say only half agree, the Moldorm 2, I feel, is the worst place to have a Helmasaur. I don't find Moldorm 1 to be as big a problem.
I mean, I can agree to that at some degrees. I just remember that Helmasaur King in this particular arena likes to hide his fate is vast in front of the pit, so you have to bomb.
For Moldorm 1, I would say Cold Stare is the worst, because if Cold Stare puffs get bouncing on the left side of that pit, it's almost impossible to hit them.
Alright, so we have a Cold Stare boss up here at the top of Tower of Hera. So that is only our second boss. It is possible that we have 2 Cold Stares, but we don't know where the other one is yet.
Oh boy, Ace has run out of magic, and there's still 3 puffs. This is going to be difficult.
Yeah, and a fall here is going to be devastating. There it is.
And we have an Ice Rod. Yeah, have you ever fallen on a Cold Stare fight? This happens.
That was interesting, to say the least.
And there is our second item in Desert Palace.
Which was? I missed
300 rupees. We have 300 rupees and an Ice Rod.
Well, that's actually pretty good for WallKicks. There's only 2 items left to put him in a boss go mode. The hammer and the hookshot. Hammer to reach several bosses.
Technically, I don't think the hammer is required for the bosses themselves.
Well, to reach a few of them, yes.
To reach them, absolutely. So far, so good for AceZero's Cold Stare fight.
We do need at least a hookshot in the event that we have an Argus somewhere. No other way to get rid of the Puff Shield without it. Ooh, Ace taking a death there. That is unfortunate.
As a word of advice, as cuddly as they look, Cold Stare Puffs really hurt to hug.
And going back in. Or nope, just gonna off the flute away. Does pick up Bombos here, which means... I don't know what that means.
Bombos is not required for Misery Mire today. Bye, bird.
Yeah, it might be required for Turtle Rock, though. And actually, now that I think about it, we're hammering entering. The only thing stopping us from entering Turtle Rock is the hammer. Will be our first look at the Armos Night fight, or rather, the Armos Night boss arena.
Meanwhile, WallKicks has found Mothula, who is an extremely easy boss fight when he's not in a room full of spikes and conveyor belts.
Yeah, Mothula actually has the same amount of health as 4 temper slashes, easy fight. Alright, so we've seen Moth, we've seen Cold Stare, we have seen Moldorm. Speaking of Moldorms, there's one mini Moldorm missing its tail.
The reason for that, I believe, is because there's a sprite limit in the rooms, and Moldorm's sprite has multiple pieces.
Blind here in East. So we
we've
still have yet to see a duplicate boss.
We've also not seen any vanilla boss placements, which is kind of nice sometimes.
Well,
finding blind out in an Randomizer is actually kind of hard, because you can't set up a script.
No. Thankfully, it's setting up a blocks to just basically trap kill him. Having him fly into him and then kill, dealing damage as a result. And Blind is down, drops the map, and gets the crit pendant out of Eastern Palace. Now, let's look at our items here, and I noticed 1 out of 3 chance Pet is dead. The only way Pet is alive is if Ether is there. And that's only alive if Turtle Rock requires Ether. Well, it requires Ether regardless. For the seed, I guess. So yeah, the only chance the pedestal's alive is if it's Ether. We have to have the hookshot and the hammer for the swamp. So those can't be there.
If I remember my logic correctly, it is impossible for the hammer to be on pedestal. And we have our mirror pickup for Alex, and we will probably be seeing Alex go explore some of the mirror checks.
It is actually possible for hammer to be on pedestal, actually. But I think it requires a near vanilla placement of the pendants.
True. It's impossible for it to be in this seed, of course.
But... yeah, in this seed it's completely impossible because of Swamp. But if the 3 pendants are in dungeons that don't require the hammer to progress, it might be fair game. We don't know. I have yet to see it, actually.
I think I've seen it once in a restream I watched a long time ago. That's beside the point, as we have AceZer0 fighting Mothula and Waterleau climbing the tower.
Yeah, we have WallKicks slamming Hera. We have Waterleau on his way to Hera. Nissan, meanwhile, is in desert along with AceZer0, although in the front half. And we're getting kind of stonewalled here, so it's almost time, I think, for our players to possibly make moves they don't want to make. And there are a couple options here. We could enter Green Pendant Swamp Palace and check the front half.
We can check one check in Green Pendant Swamp Palace right now.
Ah, right, because of the hammer. Forgot. It is possible for the hammer to be
still
there.
Still possible to have a hammer there. And it's one of the worst placements that has ever occurred in Logic.
No, one of the worst placements to ever occur in Logic was a chain of events starting from that one chest that leads to the hammer. There's always one up. It can always get worse if side quest items are involved.
Oh, yeah.
Which Mushroom could also be our hammer, or it could be the hook shot. And honestly, the next bit of progression I think we can find, ironically, I think it is the hook shot, so we can get to the right side of Death Mountain, check Paradox Cave.
We need either hook shot or hammer to check that, and I'm not sure which one of these runners wants more.
Probably the hammer, because at this point, I think that would be tempered level damage.
As WallKicks is taking on this Cold Stare fight. Makes use of Blue Potion, get another 8 shots of Fire Rod. And brings down Cold Stare on top of the Tower of Hera.
No, something else I just realized, we can go fight the boss in the Mothula arena.
Another boss, which has pretty hard limits on what can be in there.
Well, not exactly harder limits. The only boss that we can't be there is blind, and we've already fought one. So if there's a blind duplicate, it can't be there. But other than that, every boss is fair game.
I don't
think...
blind...
Wait, no, I got it wrong. I got it backwards. Friday can't be there. Blind can't be in Lambo too. I got it backwards.
Okay. But logically, I would think Ice Palace be the next destination outside of doing some of these overworld mirror checks.
Yeah, that does make the most sense to me. The issue is, of course, we don't have the hammer, but we can clear most of Ice Palace with one of our fancy tricks that we'd like to call the Icebreaker.
And Alex is going to the Ice Palace here.
Yeah, something needs to get done. We're 40 minutes in and we're kind of getting stonewalled for progression.
As WallKicks is checking one of those isolated mirror checks at Graveyard Ledge.
And at Graveyard Ledge, it's a heart container, so I think it's either in ice or the front half, or the front chest in the swamp. Honestly, the worst check here is the first chest in the swamp, because they don't have the hammer to get any further in the dungeon, and they have to go the long way around to reach it on top of that.
That's not the worst place the hammer can be.
The cape is given to us by the mushroom.
We just checked Graveyard Ledge. It's a heart container.
Well, did we check Bumper Ledge? Or is that what you meant?
Bumper ledge, yes. Sorry, there are 2 ledges both on the North Dark World. Easy to mix up.
Need a
And we've got
Burna in the
Hyrule
back
Guard.
of Thieves Town.
I
And a
wonder if
magic bet check.
Hey, normally you'd assume the game's trying to tell you to go Spite Cave at that point, but we need a hammer to do that.
Magic bats. And send arrows.
Yeah,
Now, another place I've seen the hammer recently is actually in the Maiden's Chest of Thieves Town.
Oh, there's a worse place the hammer can be, absolutely.
I mean, in Randomizer, this is pretty bad. Because you don't really have to come all the way down here if you can help it.
But I can think of one worse place, and that is behind a great big red bomb.
Actually, that would be pretty easy by comparison. Because this is a dungeon that you don't have to go into the back if you can help it. But it doesn't look like it's here.
But without the hammer, you need to do Aga to get there, unless you do a bomb dupe.
Ah, yes, you're right. Force Agatum? For the bomb? For the hammer? Well, first off, we need to find Ether before that's a possibility. But I have actually commentated a race that had hammer and Pyramid Fairy.
And that yellow spike is rude. The answer is that yes, there is a hover, but it also involves a bomb jump and I think a fairy revive as well. I've seen it.
Crazy kind of things you'd see in Randomizer or just speedruns of Link to the Past in general.
For reference, chat asked if you can hover to East Death Mountain.
I would think it's plausible, yeah.
It's possible. I've seen it, but it takes like several layers of silliness to do it. It is not recommended.
No.
I think
In fact, I don't think
WallKicks is checking the front of Swamp and there's hook shot in ice.
I think that is logically allowed as well, which is terrible. But that finally gives us access to the mountain.
That hookshot was an iced tea, correct?
Yep. So we have a hammer and then a second sword for go mode. Well, no mode. Neither runner is going to be... Oh, actually, collectively, they might be in go mode.
Ether.
Ah, right, Ether. I forgot about that. I usually forget one item. And usually it's the sword, and I thought I remembered this time, but then I forgot the medallion. First chest at Swamp House being checked meanwhile here by WallKicks, and it is 3 bombs.
I mean, I like him committing to it when he'd already opened the dungeon. So, you've already taken time, at least go in and find out what's in there.
Yeah, and Ice House is not that far away, so WallKicks knows that the hookshot's over there. Piece of heart and 3 bombs in the lower part of Paradise Gate, or the upper part, depending on your preference.
There's a reason I call that Paradox 2. And it's because I don't know which side's up and which side's down in this cave. And single hearts for our stun prize today.
Hurt. And then the top 5.
Hammer.
300 rupees, piece of heart. We just need ether. Nope. But we are, for the most part, in a mode in which we can just clear all dungeons. But I don't think Nisson's done here. Nisson's going to head over to the Dark Death Mountain and check around the items there.
So you need to go into Ice Palace to get a hook shot to cross the mountain to get a hammer. So you can
go back to ice to kill it. Oh, it's terrible.
Hey, look, they lit the dead rocks on fire. That is not a good spot for that Beamos.
Just gonna wait a few moments. And Nisson is gonna head into Turtle Rock. And it's also Ether!
So we are Ether Go mode. Ether and Sword Go mode. Although that would be a Master Sword Ganon, which is not pleasant, but these runners can do it.
I mean, at least it's not Master Sword Silverless. That's terrible. But Master Sword Silvers is doable.
It's doable, it's just tedious.
We are the imposters now with their hookshot and their knowledge of it.
And they are going directly to the mountain with it. Given that this is what the hookshot is blocking, you definitely want to come here because with 7 checks in Paradox, Spiral Cave, 6 checks on Dark Death Mountain, and finding out your Turtle Rock Medallion, this is a very important information area.
Can I just say that Lionel's in a very rude position?
Why, game?
Thankfully, in Silver, shoot one-shots it, and there wasn't guarding anything for it.
And with that hammer, I believe we're also going to see a check of everyone's favorite Spike Cave. Oh, nope, we're going to Spiral Cave instead. Also a good check to make. And WallKicks has acquired...
I don't think they'll do Spiral Cave. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't think they're going to do Spike Cave on this fast. They'll probably have the partner do it after they check this. So yeah, the partner will most likely check Spike Cave.
It makes sense. Have one check Spiral Cave and one check Spike Cave to avoid double climbing the mountain. And with that hammer found,
and in the meantime,
they're going is Pod again.
Yeah, this is an ideal play here. We gotta start going to dungeon mode here. And they can do Tower Hera, Palace of Darkness, Ice Palace. So there's 3 whole bosses we can defeat. And we only know 2 of them.
And with the acquisition of the hammer and the hookshot, we can kill any boss we run into.
That is correct. So, ideally they want to find a hammer, or not a hammer, a sword for just easier time fighting bosses, but this is still pretty good.
Ace having to use Bombos to get past that bomb bird in that. I think it just crossed the super tile because they can do that.
Yeah, zeros are kind of annoying. Was it a purple 0 or a brown or a green 0?
It was purple.
Okay, so the one that doesn't drop bombs on you, basically.
And like you said, WallKicks, after Alex did Spiral Cave, WallKicks is doing Spike Cave.
Yep, this is a good coordination of the team. This will be a little bit careful. Does not have much magic. Does have a blue potion. Gonna drink it before he takes the damage. Gets the cape ready. And choose the jaunt. And in Spike Cave is only arrows.
That's good news for Alex. I'm always scared to go into Turtle Room in an Randomizer seat. And that's because the guard barracks.
Oh, he wishes he has one of those medallions right about now, probably.
Luckily, he has the next best thing, a hammer.
Hammer and a hookshot that can stun everything.
Meanwhile, Ace is trying to get to his hookshot, and Waterleau just finished Spike Cave. I've had dead rocks on the path to Helmasar's room.
Not a fun time, that.
Landmolas. That one looked like Shadow Beast and a... What do you call it, a zero?
Zero, yeah, is the flying mushroom-like enemies. Kind of a weird enemy type, honestly.
And WallKicks is making his second trip into Ice Palace.
So we have yet to see Trinix and Vitreous and the... So we have fairly good odds that we're going to see a duplicate boss here in a little bit.
And I'm assuming, by the way, WallKicks is moving. We found all the items, and he's just going for the boss.
Yeah, I think the hookshot was the last location from these and he full cleared that dungeon to the best of his ability before finding the hookshot.
I just didn't know we'd found all 3 items in the dungeon, so... As Alex is also going into Ice Palace to clear it.
Yeah, this is the last dungeon they know what's missing, so they pretty much have isolated that this end boss has to have the Ether Medallion, I think.
There's still Swamp Palace.
And there's Argus.
Speaking of Swamp Palace, it's just me or does Puffs look cold?
They're seasonal.
Another case where Alex is probably wishing he had that Bombus medallion right now.
Argus should probably get that condition looked at. Just saying.
As Waterleau is heading into the Desert Palace boss, and AceZer0 looks to be on his way to Palace of Darkness.
Alright, Argus going up and down. 3 hits. Down goes Argus. And it's just the map. Huh. I guess it is Swamp Palace.
Alex is having a little bit of trouble with the Icebreaker today.
It is pretty exacting. So for those wondering what the Icebreaker is, basically it's a door extension which has been approved for use in randomizer races. What he's doing is he's trying to get himself wedged in the wall on the right side. Then put a Cadence Mario block down. Then he wants it to move. He wants to move one frame. I believe it's left, and then you hold down, and then you go through.
Left is correct.
And you can obviously hold left with a select buffer or a pause buffer, whichever is your preference. A sword swipe would also work. But it looks like he's not getting it, it's just going to take the long way around.
And he'll be using the NMG strat of skipping the backtracking in this dungeon. And that would be the Ice Palace
Mimic
bomb
there.
jump.
The Mimic there just kind of made me laugh. Because it just went through the pit wall.
Mimics break things in this game.
Yep, pretty much. We have boosters. Alright. Entering Swamp House to get a look around here.
Now, the thing with the Ice Palace bomb jump is it is, I want to say, double pixel precise. But the thing is, it's also not required because he has the big key and the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, and the small key as well. So yeah, Nissan is just gonna take this for lack of a better term, the easy mode break here. Just getting the Cane of Samaria and just using it to open the path instead of doing the full intended puzzle here, which basically forces you to do a second loop of Ice Palace. It's really monotonous and annoying, that.
Extremely.
And we're about to see another glitch here from WallKicks, I believe. The Diver Down, a similar setup to this, but simply put,
They never fail to make you laugh. In this case, he's using bombs.
Yeah. So basically what this is basically does a ledge jump instead of the jumping down the cliff. And the game doesn't know how to check for the water state, so it just keeps you walking. There's a third bottle there.
I told you, mimics break things.
Speaking of YouTube, rating with the party 97. How's it going? We are in Ether Go mode here in this co-op Randomizer race between Team OP Got Good and We Are the Imposters. Neither team has any influence on the playoffs, so this is just an exhibition match here in the Kakariko division of the Invitational League. And we have a Vitreous here in Swamp, and, well...
You should probably get the eye condition looked at.
Yeah, what is with the eye bosses having bad conditions? Look at Argus, look at Vitreous. They're both having a bad eye day. But there was nothing of note inside Swamp House, so either it's left side Swamp or it's on the screen pendant. We are looking for Ether to enter Misery Mire and Turtle Rock for Go mode. And a sword as well to, actually be able to damage the pig.
It could also be in the big chest that he got the big key for on the back side of the dungeon. And according to chat, one item left in Swamp Palace. Probably in left side Swamp, knowing how this game works. Well, on the plus side, WallKicks doesn't have to go through left side Swamp. And we are... AceZer0 has found ether somewhere and I missed it. Can chat please assist me with that? Where in Thievestown, Jinxie? Oh no. Was it in the big chest? Okay, we are a sword from Go mode here for We Are the Imposters.
The Green Pen didn't have anything for us, or did he not turn it in yet?
Wolflink, talk about Thievestown Big Chest.
Oh, no.
That is where the Ether Battalion was.
That is like one of the worst places for it to be! Well, let's go vote for We Are the Imposters. Sword pending, of course.
But that...
Yeah, sword pending.
You could easily gamble on a sword in Ganon's Tower, too.
You could.
So, Alex is going into the Thieves' Town, and he's grabbing the key so he can go to the back of the dungeon.
At least Alpigaku will be there. And actually, to NilssonAlex and WallKicks' credit, they do have a lot of their dungeons done. There's still Ice Palace that both Ace and Water still need to finish.
Yes, and I believe once WallKicks is done with Pod, the only dungeons left for these runners are Tower of Hera for Alex, who can do that at the end before GT, and the Etherlock once.
Yeah, so it's not out of the running yet for either team, I'd say.
What I'd say is we have a race.
We have a race. We have an exciting race in what might as well be an exhibition match of the Kakariko division.
I mean, I'd rather have an exciting exhibition match than a boring one.
You know what? Fair. I'm not going to deny that. But yeah, just in case anyone, to remind anyone, in case anyone's not aware of the implication on this race here, OP got good, and We Are the bottom two teams in the Kakariko division. And it doesn't matter if they win or lose this week. There's no way they are matching the top teams, which are currently sitting 9-3. As of my last refresh.
And they will not be changing the bottom standings because you only get 3 points for a win, I believe. So, unfortunately, that does not change the bottom placement for OP Got Good.
Yeah, so OP Got Good will be at the bottom of the Kakariko division this week. We Are the Imposters, however, could come back to into a potential 3 or 4-way tie between.
Real quick, AceZer0 just found the Master Sword in the Misery Mire map chest.
Oh, that's Goma then. And as I was saying, We Are the Imposters with a win here will put themselves in a position where they could potentially 3-way tie the second lowest ranking here with if the Bomb Squad and the second C Ganons. Komodo Hypers and 2019 Titans and 2019 Punctury and Eric Scenes all have 20 points going into this week.
So we now see WallKicks going into the back of Thieves Town to acquire his Thieves Town big chest ether. And yep, Alex is going for a potion refill. And we have our second land molas in Misery Mire.
Alright, that is a duplicate boss, which we will snap again.
The other one was in Pod, wasn't it? It's hard to keep track of these things.
I believe.
Wolflink, do you know if this is the first match or the second match for these teams, as Chad is asking?
I happen to know that, actually. It is the first match between these two teams. The second match will happen on Saturday at 4:10 p.m.
Alright, thank you.
And if I can double check the schedule here real quick. That match will be NilssonAlex and AceZer0 go on for the reception as well. But they're going to swap out WallKicks and Waterleau with Sterling and Hitsion 137 respectively.
And now we've got runners in Misery Mire. We've got AceZer0 going into Ice Palace. We've got Waterleau finishing Palace of Darkness. We've got OP Got Good together in Misery Mire. And that room is still absolutely terrifying to me. On AceZer0's screen.
Yeah, that's a pretty dangerous room.
Something about pre-Icebreaker makes you really not want to touch that room. Nice, clean Icebreaker from AceZer0.
Yep. And both teams are looking pretty good here. Nissan just has to do Hair, but that's on the way to GT. WallKicks has to do Mire and Turtle Rock, which we know is Ether for both dungeons. Waterloo has to do Ice Palace still, and Turtle Rock. And AceZer0 still has to do Ice Palace, Turtle Rock, and Hera. Oh.
I believe we're about to see no fewer than 3 runners in Turtle Rock simultaneously. I missed that it was a vanilla big key in Misery Mire.
I mean, they should check the chest on their way through, though. At least I would hope so. They know they still need a sword, so they're not going to miss out.
I agree with Zelga on this one. One of them should make this check.
Oh man, they're hoping for a sword in GT. Which, granted, actually, based on what we know, there may be a sword in Turtle Rock, and there is very likely to be a sword in GT, but
That could be the edge that the imposters need. Because by the way, Waterloo is moving, they know. Which they do, because AceZer0 found it earlier. On the plus side, Landmole is a very easy boss fight when you have silver arrows.
Very easy indeed.
Silver arrows make a lot of the bosses pretty simple.
Alright, simultaneous critical catch for Oppie got good. And we're about to see our first look at Turtle Rock here from AceZer0. And both runners are in fact leaving that sword play. Let's hope that doesn't bite at them. And just to remind everyone, chat, Master Sword was discovered in the spike chest in Misery Mire. Alright, we have 3 runners entering Turtle Rock now. Waterloo on his way. Nothing but berry bars here.
I apologize. What did we find?
Nothing so far. Just some keys and big keys here in Turtle.
AceZer0 is stealing the key in Turtle Rock. It makes sense when you're in go mode.
Yeah, it does. It really does. There's really not much to say about the end of this race here. It's pretty much a rush to Ganon here with the hopes that OP Got Good finds his sword all along the way.
Okay,
and we'll see it from
okay,
AceZer0 then.
That chain chomp is rude.
Very much so.
I imagine we see WallKicks not steal the key here.
Yeah, just to check the chest so that he can relay the information to Nissan. We might have one other runner also check Mimic Cave while the other one moves on with the just to make sure they don't miss a sword.
I love the Phoenix Wright sprite.
It really is a good one. Especially when you get them to read the book and they do the objection. WallKicks is stealing the key.
He couldn't get past the spike block. But Alex is not stealing the key. And it's
The
just a
fourth bottle.
As one of my other randomizers communities I follow will say, bottle percent.
Half magic in the chest. That's a nice find.
And we will not. And I forgot to mention, we will not be seeing a second blind. Or we will not be seeing another blind in this GT.
Because we just have one on the Trinex fight. I just noticed that. And
Half
neither
magic.
runner's checking Mimic Cave.
Risky. They might be feeling behind, though. So they might be taking risks here.
Yeah, in the event of co-op races, as a reminder for those who are unfamiliar with how this works, it is not the first person across the finish line. It is the first. It is based on average times between both runners' finishes times, and the one with the lower average time is the winner. So if Ace and Waterloo were to finish at the same first and second, that would mean that their average time would by default be unbeatable by whatever time that NilssonAlex and WallKicks can get.
And there's a sword on Laser Bridge.
Alright, they are in go mode and they are getting bailed out there big time. Now conversely, if AceZer0 finishes and then Nissan and WallKicks finish, there is a possibility that the average time that Nissan and WallKicks puts up is more than the time than Waterloo can put up alongside Ace. And in which case, that win will go to Up We Got Good.
And with AceZer0 killing that blind, I'll give him 7 crystals. And as such,
gentlemen, we
we'll
have
be
a
going
game we
to
like to play.
Do we like to play it?
We'd like to play it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in lightning fast here because you have to figure out which chest has the big key to Ganon's Tower here amongst them. And there can only be one. And Z, where do you think it's going to be?
I always say 13. Nice in the middle, just enough to make them sweat.
I'm gonna say 5.
It's going to be in the 5th chest.
And once AceZer0 crosses that doorway, I believe we stop the game and see who wins.
Yeah, this was a really fast game.
It is rough to do it when you've got to time it from Tower of Hera.
First chest, small key. Second chest, the Book of Medora.
And not far behind AceZer0, WallKicks is entering Ganon's Tower.
Yes, and to remind you folks, we are following AceZer0's item count here, not anyone else's, so...
AceZer0 going with a full right strategy to start. Unfortunately, that Wallmaster is not enemized.
I wish it was, that it was one of the worst enemies.
if the Wall Masters could be enemized, it'd make Skullwood so much more enjoyable. WallKicks is going left.
Yeah, Star of the Hope when classic strat. Is it on the torch? Nope, money's on the torch. Number 3. Number 4, the big key! Number 5, the shield. Number 6, 10 arrows.
We got early big key. So
close enough, I'll take it.
Yeah, we could see. This is a difficult Herapod do with that anti-fairy there. We'll see if WallKicks goes right from here, because some people do like to follow what is called Dark Magician strats.
The issue is there, no, he's going to go full left here. Normally, with a traditional Dark Magician strat, you check the Hope Room after Stalfos.
I've seen some people do Hope Room first, still, is why I say it. So,
yeah, the traditional Dark... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. But that puts AceZer0 starting to climb, and Waterleau will know exactly where to go.
And Nissan apparently does not know Herapot, so going to go with the big key. Oh hey, the rare enemy, Cannon Guard.
So Wolflink, I think the game is rigged.
Why was that?
You won.
And it's live. And I actually put my guess in chat.
I don't tend to put my guess in chat when I'm playing on when I'm actually on the crew. Personal thing on that. But the gauntlet seems to be pretty tame so far. We got a shovel in Rando Room. On the plus side, we get to see who's going to be in the Ice Armos room.
Let's hope it's someone important.
Based on the dungeons we've not seen the bosses of, one of
We
Swamp
have a
Palace
Trinix
Ice
confirmed.
Armos. What?
We have a Trinix.
Stop guaranteed.
We have a Trinix.
Not guaranteed.
Confirmed, I think.
Swamp Palace could have it.
Oh right. Thought we saw the boss of Swamp. No, we saw the boss of Swamp. Skullwoods can. No, Skullwoods can't have Trinix. There he is.
What did it do?
Right, I forgot. Skullwoods can't have Trinix, so it's possible that he's also in the basement, but he can't be in the top. And in the basement, it's the Armos Knights.
Hi, Armos Knights.
Didn't see them yet either.
They're vanilla.
So the last bosses we don't know is. All right, what boss have we not seen yet? Helversar King? Oh no!
What?
It means we have a 50-50 shot of this being a helicopter seat, I just realized. And it was a not required dungeon.
And Waterleau entering.
But trust me, folks, when Trust me, folks, when I say this, Helversar King in the Skullwoods Arena is a treat. If you haven't seen it before, find a VOD and take a look at it. It is hilarious.
For those who want to know why it's hilarious, we call it Helmacopter.
So,
that's right. You don't have to kill. Hold on. Is that the shell from the exploding shell as he went through while the boss was exploding for the first part?
that's part of the reason why Blind can't be there, is because all of that section of room that you saw there, the room before and the room after it, that's all what is called a super tile. Those rooms are all together on one big tile of the Underworld map. So Blind, because it's all on a super tile, things get a little wonky there, so that's why blind can't be in the Lambo 2 arena. And as you can see, the adverse effects of Trinex being there, but it has no implications whatsoever. It's just transparent.
Certain bosses in Ice Armos and Lanmo 2, you don't have to kill the entire boss. Most notably, I've seen Argus let you through when he spins the last puff off screen, if you have him at the top of the screen.
So this is a pretty close race here. It's gonna come down to Nissan and Waterloo. Waterloo is a couple rooms ahead here.
So what boss do you want to see in Mordorm 2?
You know what? I don't want to see Helmazurk. Oh, there he is. It's Helmazurk.
I don't want to see... Does that count as commentary curse when it happens within 2 seconds?
I thought it thus interfered. or something. But yeah, I wanted to not see it here for one reason, because that means we had an assured helicopter. And we couldn't, and we never saw it. But we still potentially have a helicopter scene, but we don't know what's the third duplicate boss over in Skull Woods.
So we have WallKicks at Trinex, AceZer0 at Helmikosaur, Waterleau at...
Oh my goodness, they are room for room now. Waterloo and these are room for room. But I think the averages are... Ooh.
It depends entirely on performance by the later two, I believe, the second runners of these teams. And WallKicks surviving the Trinex fight.
Yeah, if there's a death here, that is game. Oh no. That's unfortunate. There's a lot of time eaten up between We Got Good and WallKicks. Nissan has to get through this fight fairly quickly. But both runners are on blue mail on We Got Good side. But Waterloo doesn't have half magic and he's not careful. Okay, has a blue potion, but that's gonna eat some time up.
This is an extremely close race here. At least if you're looking at everybody else's screens, not AceZer0's.
Dragon's exploding first on Waterloo's end. Oh my goodness! Where's the temperature come from on AceZer0? Fortunate at the top.
Top of tower.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna. Oh my goodness.
Ace takes the death again.
But the two runners so close, are they gonna skip the Tempered Sword? Oh no! WallKicks is skipping the. Okay, I thought for a second there WallKicks did not pick it up, but there it is.
So, I think this comes down entirely to Waterlow's performance at this point.
It does, yeah.
Unfortunately, that
Takes a
bomb,
fall.
which basically puts Waterloo and Alex back on track with each other. WallKicks, this is the closest race I've ever come to.
4v for 2v2. Yeah, this is pretty dang close. Mass off first for Nissan. There's the arrow shot.
And the pig is exploding for AceZer0. Who get your GGs in chat for AceZer0, who will be the first runner finished, provided he doesn't fall off that bridge, with an official race.
Official time is
1:33:31.
all right. Now that time locks in the first part of the average here. It's going to be very close here.
Did you just see Alex on mirror for a moment in panic?
I think I did. Nissan has had a little bit of trouble with the Aga fight.
WallKicks dropping in on Gannon. In about as soon as he lands, and WallKicks drops in the pyramid. Nissan going to having cutscene. Waterloo finishes off Aga 2.
Oh man, this is way too close to call. A single missed silver arrow. Oh, an extra cycle on Ganon. Could determine a lot about this race. And I just realized something. There's a chance Nissan doesn't get a 1-1-1 here. Nissan doesn't have the cape. So it has to get all these hits in right now. Nope, second cycle. Oh, that is going to be a lot of time. I think Waterloo also did not get the one cycle there. One more silver arrow for the pig here. All right, WallKicks is done.
Get your GGs in chat for WallKicks.
Oh boy, this is gonna be really close, folks. Keep your eyes on Waterloo and NilssonAlex though. And
I really wish they were
for WallKicks.
You do not understand how much I wish they were not opposite corners right now.
WallKicks finishes in second place with an official race time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, 41 seconds. Really close.
Waterloo first to phase 4. Nissan right behind him.
Ooh, a little bit tricky here.
And the pig goes down for Waterloo. And the pig goes down for Nissan.
And the pig goes down for Nissan. Oh my goodness, we have a total finish here. Oh no. GG's the imposters, though. They will be crossing the until first, it looks like. And we have times here. There's times.
Also,
so we have
averages.
Oh, we need averages here. Waterloo, third place, 136.21. NilssonAlex, 136.23. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. We're now getting joined by the runners here.
Welcome
what an ending to the seed.
Welcome to AceZer0, NilssonAlex, and WallKicks.
Yo,
hopefully
GG's Ace.
Waterloo as well. What a seed this was. I don't know how it finished, because I can't do the averages in my head that fast.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Ace won, but Ace beat me by 2 minutes, and Waterloo beat Alex by 2 seconds. So, I mean, there's no math involved. This is like the third league race I've lost because of GT routing. This is
So
really dumb.
So first and third. Okay, yeah. So first and third finish. So it doesn't matter. It's only in a 1-2-2-1 setting that it would matter. So yeah, the winner of this race is We Are the Imposters. Although it was a very close finish.
I mean, one day I will actually get the correct GT routing, but it's not this season because this was my last race this season.
And Waterloo has also joined us. GG to all 4 of you.
GG's, Waterloo.
GG's.
GG's, guys.
Let's just say that Ice Palace was very rude today. I think we can all agree on that.
Ice Palace.
Yes,
Yeah, well, Ice Palace is not fun.
Hammerless Ice Palace for Hookshot. For Hammer in Parox Cave, for Ether in the Thief's Town Big Chest is pretty rude.
And just add no swords at all, so...
Yes, I wanted to go to Ice Palace before, but yeah, we were in Randomizer with the ice on the floor, with the first sword, and I was in Green Maid. It can be difficult to do everything Ice Palace, so I said yes. Let Ice Palace for the last check, and of course it was there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we did as well. I wanted to go in super early, but I didn't want to go in there because we had... I think that point we don't...
Fire Rod. No, you wanted to go in when we had Fire Rod.
Oh yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. I'm
We didn't
done,
even
so...
have a sword at that point. You're like,
Yeah.
Ice Palace, man.
So I do want to mention this real quick. Do you guys think this race would have been different if you guys had the gold sword? Because we actually do know where all 4 swords are between the 4 of you.
Where was the last one?
For you and WallKicks, Misery Mire map chest.
Oh.
And for you imposters, it was on Laser Bridge and Turtle Rock.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought about it. I even asked. I was like, Waterloo, should I do Laser Bridge? And I was like, I think I'm okay. Are you okay? And he says, yeah, I'm fine.
I thought Nissan checked that chest when I was in Mire, but whatever. We were gonna skip it anyways at that point.
Yeah, we said to each other, just find the big key to Mire and don't look for anything.
Yeah,
That was our
we were more
strategy,
focused. Yeah, we were more focused on swords in TR/GT.
I figured especially because I knew I had Cold Stare left and I struggled with that the first time, I feel like the sword would have been really helpful. And I mean, of course, we didn't know the last, 3 bosses or maybe 4 bosses if we had to do GT basement, so I thought the Mire ones were worth it, and luckily they were. I mean, we did all get the one in top of GT, of course, which is
Naturally. Helped
There's
at the
always
end for
a
sure.
sword there.
You'd think it would help, but apparently I still died to Ganon twice. Because I don't know how to fight Ganon, apparently. I'm glad that didn't decide the race, but I would have felt really bad if it did.
I mean, again, if I just whatever, 3 races or so because of GT. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a lot of little things you could say, just this one thing or this one thing. Because like even if you guys hadn't like double dipped swamp, because like WallKicks, you said you went in there.
I went in for first
without
chest,
the hammer
yeah.
for the first chest, then you went back.
Yep.
Like that's probably a big time loss.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to step on Alex's toes, so I was clearing up the rest of the mirror checks while Alex was in Ice Palace. And then he got the hook shot right as I was walking into Ice Palace. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get this first chest anyways, just in case, and then I'll head over to IP.
Yeah, it makes sense. That same kind of mentality kind of helped us. It sounds like because Waterloo was still in Swamp Palace clearing things out when I didn't want to get in his way either, and was like, well, I guess I'll go to Thieves Town and get the big chest. Well, you're still working on Swamp, where the progression probably is.
Yes, and I was sure that you would find like trash in a Thiston big chest and like going straight to the boss. That's why I did left side swamp, because if it's on the boss, we will go at the same moment to the boss. But no, stop! It's in a Thiston big chest, and I said, what an awful scene. That was something.
Yeah, I mean, in Randomizer, especially with where the hammer, especially in the sea with where the hammer was, I mean that's a last location for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
You
sure.
don't, it's tough to justify going to the back of Thief Town in any form of boss shuffle. It's even tougher when you don't have the hammer, and then to have the hammer as late as it was, you're not going back into Thieves Town anytime soon. So that's not what won or lost anybody or race.
Yeah.
So there's really not much more to ask. I really about the seed. So any final thoughts before we start wrapping things up here?
Suck at GT. Give me the big key earlier and not in check 22.
Alright, GG's to Waterloo and Ace, and thanks for commentating and tracking, and of course for SpeedGaming hosting, and have a good night.
Yep.
Yeah, same. GG's, Nilsson, and WallKicks. I look forward to our next match. And thanks to everybody for putting on the restream. Hope it was fun to watch for everybody.
Yeah, GG's, guys.
Definitely exciting
Yes.
finish, that's for sure. Folks, make sure to follow all 4 of our runners, NilssonAlex, WallKicks, AceZer0, and Waterloo. They put on an amazing race for us tonight, despite this being an exhibition race in the league. Speaking of the league, in their division, in fact, going on about 40 minutes in on Speed Gaming, we have Komodo Hypers versus Pug Trio, Kyong and Andy versus Frame and Weighty Words. Or is it Kyong and Frame versus Andy and Weighty Words?
Yeah, you read the wrong way on that one. It's Kyung and Farame versus Andy and Weighty Words.
Yes, and coming at 9:10, also on Speed Gaming, we have Spear Affinity versus Wu-Tang Clan, GFG12 and Sabazender versus AccuC Duck and Imosaru. And of course, make sure to follow or for us, like I said, and make sure to also follow Speed Gaming at SpeedGaming 226 so you don't miss any racing action, not just the Elite Pass Randomizer League. Also, shout outs to once again to our tracker. There's Mindful Beast and Jinxie Girl for keeping those items up to date for us tonight. And of course, thank you as well for joining me on the mic, League Highway. Make sure to give him a follow as well. And that's about all we have time for. So from all of us here at the Link to Pass Randomizer League, I have been WolfLink0370, and we should see you all next time. And thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.